Going down South Park, gonna have myself time. Friendly faces everywhere, humble folks without temptation. Going down South Park, gonna have myself time. I love South Park. I love South Park. I love South Park. Screw you guys. I'm going home. Oh my god, they killed Kenny. You bastards. I love South Park. South Park cracks me up like nothing else. Two things crack me up like nothing else. South Park and Borat. And maybe I'll make a separate video for Borat, okay? South Park. Here's why I love South Park. South Park is known for pushing the limits on everything. I mean, you know, Family Guy and Simpsons don't do that kind of absurd, not nearly to the same effect anyway. Like South Park is just absurd. Like it pushes the envelope, right? It really, really, really challenges social conventions, and the way it makes fun of everyone. That's really the number one reason why I love South Park. Matt and Trey, right? Matt Stone and Trey Parker, they make fun of every single thing out there, right? And I've watched an interview of them, and Trey Parker was talking, and the way he was describing the way they make South Park, that their mentality is this is what he's saying, right? He's saying, so you have these two people, you know, and they're basically the same people, but they're fighting amongst each other. So we think it's really funny to come in and make fun of both people that are fighting with each other. So you'll see South Park make fun of politically correct, the whole politically correct thing and social justice warriors. And they've even gone as far as creating a character, which is PC Principal. And yeah, like especially in the last few seasons, they've just been kind of like taking a massive shit on that whole politically correct movement and social justice warriors out there. But also, they take even a bigger shit, or just as equal of a shit, on conservatives, on people who are like traditional and are, you know, less tolerant of other people. They'll also take a shit on that. So they see, like, you have the fight between the people that have low tolerance for differences, and then you have the people who are like complete social justice warriors and politically correct, and they'll make fun of both of them in the same episode. In different episodes, they'll make fun of both of them. You see? And that's genius to me, because I think they're getting the point of life. The point of life is, look, fuck this group identity shit. You know, don't identify with your group. And I think that's an underlying message of South Park. Whether Matt and Trey are trying to portray it, they're really smart guys, by the way. They're really smart guys. So I think they're trying to portray it, because you'll see behind every episode there is a message there. There's an underlying message, and they're really smart guys. You listen to them in the interview. They're funny, they're hilarious, but they're very conscious and smart. And I think they get the point of life. Is all this group identity is nothing but absurdity that should be made fun of. Because, like, look at the way humans are. Like, that is funny, that's hilarious, how we get in these little groups and these little tribes and we start to fight each other over. It's like, but you're the same, So they'll also like make fun of vegans, right? But they'll also make fun of people who eat meat, who like are like, you know, those, you know, manly, masculine meat eaters, right? They make fun of them, and they'll make fun of vegans. So like, there's an episode in the earlier seasons when Stan, I know some of you guys are vegans, right? But you gotta take everything with a sense of humor. When Stan stops, he's like, he sees how badly the cows are treated, and he tries to save the little baby cows. And so he decides, I'm gonna stop eating meat altogether. And then they kind of take the baby cows, they hold it up in the house, and then at the end they basically get a truck to smuggle them out, right? And so Stan doesn't eat meat, but his friends Kyle, Eric, Kenny, they're still eating meat. You know, even though they're stuck in the house for what, a couple of weeks, I think. They're still eating meat. He's not eating meat, and he starts to develop like spots everywhere on his body, right? And then after, at the end of the episode, he goes into the hospital, and then the doctor diagnoses him, and he's like, "You have vagininitis or something," right? Which is, you're becoming a vagina for not eating meat. You're becoming a pussy, which is, you know, it's hilarious, right? It's hilarious. And so they make fun of that, but then they'll also make fun of like the way you kill meat. Or like in the same episode, they made fun of the way the animals are treated. And then in different episodes, if you watch South Park, they'll make fun of people who are like, you know, let's go get a beer and let's eat the steak. Like, they'll make fun of that too. They'll make fun of everybody, right? They'll make fun of everybody. And they'll offend everybody. Essentially, they're out to offend everybody, and they'll do it no matter how, no matter what. They'll fucking do it. They'll get you. They'll get you. And how many celebrities have they portrayed on their show? I mean, they shit all over, what's his name? Kanye West. So much so that Kanye West had to write an entire post on his MySpace or whatever it was at the time. And he's like, "Oh my God, South Park made me realize I have a big ego. I'm gonna try and focus more on like being a better person." He actually wrote that shit. They actually got to him so much that he wrote, "I'm gonna try and be a better person after I watch South Park." Okay? They shit on all the celebrities, all the fads, everything. They'll see two groups of people fighting, they'll shit on both of them. They'll shit on the liberals and they'll shit on the conservatives. And yeah, they'll shit on everybody, basically. They're ruthless. They're ruthless. They don't give a fuck. They're ruthless. Ruthless. You know, they'll shit on the jocks and they'll shit on the nerds. You know, really, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing because it's like that. You get the point of life then. The point of life is not for us to identify with these characters and identify with these roles and, oh, I am this and I am that, right? That's not the point. That's not the point. I'm a jog, I'm a meat eater, I'm a vegan, I'm a whatever, they make fun of druggies, like hippies, right? People who go on, do psychedelics and smoke weed, they make fun of it. And then, so I'm kind of in that category being made fun of. And I mean, I find it so hilarious. And then they'll make fun of like the sober people, like, you know, drugs are bad, don't do drugs, okay? Because drugs are bad, don't do drugs. Marijuana is bad, okay? Okay? So, like, you know, they make fun of it all. They make fun of the straight edge people who are like all about sober and straight, and, you know. And then they'll make fun of the druggies, you know. and, you know, Eric Cartman really hates hippies. So, to me, it really just resonates with me. Because what do I preach in these videos? I preach one love. I preach unity between all of human beings. I preach oneness, similarity, looking at the similar things that we all share. And I also always talk about assholes and how they unite us. The fact that we all have assholes, the fact that we all share the human condition of having to eat and shit, that on its own should just kind of like bring us all together, amongst many, many other things. One of them being that we're all gonna die. Okay? That's another thing that unites humans, besides taking a shit and having an asshole. And yeah, like, to me, it just resonates with me so much because it takes any sort of group identity, shits on it. Any sort of ego identification that we cling on to and hold on to and get attached to, will shit on you for that, right? Like, it'll just pew. And, you know, like, they also, like, they'll shit on, like, this the whole yoga and spiritual people. Like, I've seen them in their episodes. Hilarious, hilarious. You know, again, that's they're shitting on us. Like, no, that's me and you guys watching, you know? Like, the yoga and the whole spirituality thing and blah, blah. Like, there's a lot of episodes they shit on that. And they shit on, like, stupid people who are, like, completely asleep. And you know, like, the whole South Park, the village, right, is composed of stupid people. And I think that's South Park's way of making fun of the masses. how the masses are just like they get swayed easily by anything that's on the news or on the media. So they're also shitting on that. They're shitting on everybody. And I salute them for that. And I love it. And I think we gotta realize this, you know. I think actually part of being evolved spiritually is look at the person and see how offended they get by things. If you get offended a lot, yeah, you're far, far, far from that nirvana enlightenment stage. I'm telling you right now, okay? If you get offended a lot, time to work on your ego, my friend. Time, and see, now this is really like me being as egotistical as it gets, telling you time to work on your ego, right? I'm talking to myself here too. Because, you know, I get offended sometimes from things. And it's like, well, why are you getting offended, right? This is when I'm talking to you, telling you time to work on your ego, I'm talking to myself as well. It's like, why are you getting offended? You know, my friend a couple of months ago said something and I got offended. I didn't talk to him for a couple of weeks. Then I realized, I'm like, you're being fucking silly as fuck, Saeed. Like, you're just, your little ego got butthurt. This was only 2 months ago, you know? And I was like, okay, well, fuck it, let's go. And then we started cracking jokes again. I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, I'm gonna let it go. It's just my ego. I'm identified to a certain thing in me that now got offended. And that's fucking silly. That's really, really stupid and silly. And then I started watching South Park again. I'm like, yeah, these guys, they get it. They get it. And I should try and be like that, more like that. And I think, yeah, that's a sign. Like, if you're getting offended a lot, look, see what's going on here. Like, what am I identifying with so much? What is this identity that I'm with? What is this ego identity that I'm so identified with? You know, and then be like, okay, well, I don't give a fuck, right? Let's just I'm gonna make fun of it anyway. And yeah, so you go on and offend everybody. That's what South Park does. And yeah, I think if you offend enough people, then you also give them, and like maybe by offending them, you give them an insight into how silly it is to be so identified with that group, with that identity that is, a lot of people are identified with their group identity, right? Whatever it is, I'm identified with it. And that like, I mean, you can easily fall and trap, like, you can say I'm a spiritual person, right? I am a higher consciousness person. And now you're identified with this group, and now you're shutting yourself off from the vibration of oneness. Look, you probably want to hang around people that think the same way as you, right? I certainly do. I certainly try to hang around as many people as I can that are thinking the same way. But I also interact a lot with people that are just normal 9 to 5, or, you know, coffee drinkers, donut eaters. I work in a coffee shop, right? Part-time. And it's, I mean, I think one of the reasons why I'm working there now part-time, what's good for me, is I'm relating to the average person, and I'm realizing, no, we're all one. It doesn't matter where the fuck you are in life. And it made me, because, you know, you get to start to get into the scene, spirituality, and psychedelics is another group, right? I'm a psychonaut. I always call myself a psychonaut, right? Which is true. A psychonaut is someone who experiments a lot with the psychedelic state of mind. It's cool to call yourself that. It's called yourself a vegan, whatever. It's another thing to start to identify with that group and start to sort of see everyone else as us and them. When we start to see us and them, that's where the problem begins. If I'm seeing us and them, us, psychonauts, people who do psychedelics, them, people who don't, and just follow the government, see, now I'm creating separation. And I think good and evil, separate video. Good is oneness, evil is separation. If you're separating all the time, you're going towards evil. If you're bringing closer to oneness, that's good. So these identities help us. And I really think South Park digs at that. These guys are smart. They're making you laugh, and they're trying to get a message across. It's these stereotypes that we have, these groups that we identify with. Like, I identify, for example, with being a psychonaut, and also with being into consciousness, into spirituality, right? Into personal development. I identify with all these things. It's cool. It helps us Get an identity. We need an identity in the world. You need the ego. You need the character. You kill your ego. You know what you're gonna do? Go fucking jump off a building. Don't do that, please. But I'm saying, if you want to kill your ego, you go die. That's what it is. You go physically die, you kill your ego. Or you get high on 5 grams of mushrooms. It gets killed for 5 hours. You come back with a whole new different perspective and understanding of life. But when you come back, even when you come back from the 5 grammer, you got to come back to your ego. It's there with you all the time. So we need these identities. We need them, right? Like, I need to know that I'm a psychonaut and there's other psychonauts out there. I need to know that I'm into changing the world and there's other people that want to change the world. And I need to be around these people. But that doesn't mean that I'm solely identified now. That's where my identity is. This group, this thing. I can't, because everything's changing. This too shall pass. Right? Everything's changing all the time, all the time, all the time. 3 years ago, I was the fitness guy. I'm not really the fitness guy anymore. It changed. See what I mean? It changed. But that was my ego identity 3 years ago, and it was good. I needed it at the moment. But had I clinged on to the fitness thing, you know, big problem, right? I mean, they make fun of a lot of the fitness too. Like PC Principal is a bro, right? So they make fun of him for being a bro, a gym bro, but also like a politically correct bro. And you know what? Yeah, like when you get identified with that role too much and that becomes your group and your community and it's all there is and nothing else and us and them and us fitness people, them people who don't work out, problem. It becomes a problem when you start to look down on other people that are not doing the same thing as you. It's a cool thing to say, I am doing this, I am a fitness guy, I am a yoga guy, I am a psychonaut. It's cool. But when it gets problematic, and this is what why South Park goes out and offends everybody, because it wants them to realize that this is a human flaw that all of us have. It's a tendency, is when it becomes tribal, and when you start to put other people down who don't follow your whatever it is you're doing, right? And yeah, that is why I love Matt Stone and Trey Parker, and why I love South Park. And I watch like at least an episode a day. Like an episode a day. I watch an episode a day when I'm eating usually. If I'm eating lunch or dinner, I'll watch an episode. And I get a nice laugh and a nice message there. Always reminds me to not get offended and take everything with a sense of humor. And find humor in everything, find absurdity in it all, because it's all absurd. It's an absurd existence, man. Human existence is absurd. It's all fucking absurd. I'm telling you right now. Being a human is absurd. Making this video is absurd. South Park is absurd. Everything is absurd. God bless you, Matt. God bless you, Trey. God bless South Park. God bless you all. I love every single one of you guys, but don't forget to subscribe, or screw you guys, I'm going home.